If you spend enough time in the garden, you start realizing something fascinating. Some of the most powerful gardening tools are already sitting in your kitchen. While gardeners often search for expensive fertilizers and chemical sprays, simple household ingredients can sometimes do surprising things for soil health and plant care. Two of the most talked about pantry items in gardening circles are brown sugar and baking soda. At first glance, they seem completely unrelated to plants. One belongs in cookies, the other in baking recipes. But when used correctly, both can play interesting roles in improving soil biology, discouraging certain pests, and even supporting plant resilience. However, these ingredients are often misunderstood. You'll find countless gardening myths online claiming they are miracle solutions for everything from pest infestations to plant diseases. The truth is a bit more nuanced. Brown sugar and baking soda can be useful tools, but only when you understand the science behind them and use them responsibly. Here on the Soil Science Garden, we focus on practical soil wisdom backed by real gardening experience. So in this guide, we'll explore how these two simple ingredients work, when they can help, when they should be avoided, and how to use them safely in your garden. By the end, you'll know exactly how to experiment with them in a way that benefits your plants instead of harming them. Before we dive into each ingredient, it's helpful to understand why certain kitchen products sometimes have benefits in gardening. Gardens are ecosystems. Beneath the soil surface lives an entire world of microbes, fungi, insects, and organic chemistry interacting with plant roots. Many household ingredients influence these systems in small but meaningful ways. For example, some materials can feed soil microbes, others can change surface pH, and some create conditions that discourage pests or fungal growth. Brown sugar primarily influences soil microbes, while baking soda affects surface chemistry and fungal environments. Used thoughtfully, they can support healthy plant systems. Used incorrectly, they can disrupt soil balance. So the key is understanding their role and limitations. Brown sugar is essentially sugar with molasses. That molasses contains small amounts of minerals like potassium, calcium, magnesium, and iron. But the real magic of brown sugar in gardening comes from something else: microbial stimulation. Soil microbes love simple carbohydrates. When small amounts of sugar enter the soil, bacteria and fungi can use it as an energy source. In the right conditions, this can stimulate microbial activity around plant roots. Think of it like providing a quick snack for the soil workforce. Healthy microbial populations help break down organic matter, release nutrients, and build soil structure. When those microbes are active, plants often benefit indirectly through improved nutrient availability. However, balance is everything. Too much sugar can actually cause microbial populations to explode temporarily and then crash, potentially disrupting the soil ecosystem. That's why gardeners should treat sugar as a light microbial stimulant, not a fertilizer. One of the most useful ways to apply brown sugar is in compost systems. Compost piles rely on microbes to break down organic materials, and those microbes need both carbon and nitrogen sources to function efficiently. Sometimes compost piles slow down because microbial activity drops, A diluted brown sugar solution can act as a temporary microbial energizer. When lightly watered into a compost pile, it can stimulate bacterial activity and help kickstart decomposition. Gardeners often notice compost heating up again after microbial activity increases. The key here is dilution and moderation. A small amount mixed in water can help wake up dormant microbes, but dumping large quantities of sugar into compost can create imbalance or attract pests. So think of it as microbial encouragement, not microbial overload. Another interesting use for brown sugar is in homemade microbial teas. Some gardeners mix small amounts of sugar into compost tea to feed beneficial bacteria during brewing. The sugar helps microbial populations multiply before the tea is applied to soil. When sprayed onto soil or compost, This microbial solution can help introduce active organisms that assist with nutrient cycling. This approach is most effective when used alongside organic matter like compost, mulch, or leaf litter. Microbes need a long-term food source, not just a quick sugar spike. That's why the best soil systems rely on organic matter first, with occasional microbial boosters if needed. You may have heard claims that brown sugar can repel or kill pests. In most cases, these claims are exaggerated. However, brown sugar can sometimes be used in homemade bait traps. Certain insect traps combine sugar with yeast or other attractants to lure pests into containers. The sugar serves as a food attractant rather than a pesticide. These traps are occasionally used for insects like fruit flies or certain beetles. But it's important to remember that sugar can also attract unwanted pests if used carelessly in open soil. For this reason, brown sugar should rarely be applied directly to garden beds, unless it's diluted and intended to stimulate microbes. While brown sugar works mostly through soil biology, baking soda works through chemistry. Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, is alkaline. When dissolved in water, it raises pH slightly and can alter the conditions on plant surfaces. This change in pH is why baking soda is sometimes used in homemade sprays designed to discourage fungal diseases. Many fungal pathogens prefer slightly acidic conditions. By increasing surface alkalinity, baking soda can create an environment that slows fungal growth. But again, moderation is critical. Too much baking soda can harm plants and disrupt soil chemistry. One of the most common uses of baking soda in gardening is as a mild antifungal spray. Gardeners sometimes mix a small amount of baking soda with water and a drop of mild soap to create a spray for leaves. The soap helps the solution stick to plant surfaces. When applied lightly to leaves, this mixture can make conditions less favorable for certain fungi, such as powdery mildew. However, it's important to understand that baking soda is preventative rather than curative. It works best when applied before fungal problems become severe. Heavy infestations usually require stronger treatments or improved environmental conditions like better airflow and reduced humidity. The biggest risk with baking soda in gardening comes from sodium buildup. Sodium is not beneficial for most plants. Repeated heavy use of baking soda can accumulate sodium in soil, which can damage soil structure and interfere with plant nutrient uptake. This is why baking soda sprays should generally be used on leaves rather than soil. Light occasional applications are usually safe, but frequent or concentrated treatments can stress plants and harm beneficial microbes. As with most home remedies, the difference between helpful and harmful is often just the dosage. Some gardeners experiment with baking soda as a quick soil pH adjustment tool. Technically, it can raise pH slightly, but it's not recommended for long-term soil management. Because baking soda contains sodium, repeated use can degrade soil quality over time. A better approach for adjusting soil pH is using natural amendments such as lime or wood ash, which provide calcium and other beneficial minerals without introducing excessive sodium. So while baking soda may have uses on plant surfaces, it's generally not the best solution for soil correction. One of the best things about gardening is experimentation. Every garden is a living laboratory, and trying new methods can lead to fascinating discoveries. But experimentation works best when done carefully. If you decide to try brown sugar or baking soda in your garden, start small. Test solutions on a few plants before applying them widely. Observe how your plants respond over several days. Gardening success often comes from watching the subtle signals plants give us. Leaves, soil texture, moisture levels, and growth patterns all tell stories about what's happening beneath the surface. The goal is never to rely on a single miracle ingredient, but to support the entire garden ecosystem. At the end of the day, brown sugar and baking soda are small tools within a much bigger system. Healthy gardens depend on living soil. That means building organic matter, encouraging microbial life, protecting soil structure, and minimizing harmful chemical disruptions. Compost, mulch, cover crops, and diverse plantings will always have a bigger long-term impact than any quick kitchen remedy. But when used thoughtfully, ingredients like brown sugar and baking soda can become small helpers in that larger soil health strategy, and sometimes the simplest experiments lead to the most interesting gardening discoveries. Gardening is part science, part curiosity, and part patience. Every season teaches us something new about soil, plants, and the hidden world beneath our feet. Brown sugar and baking soda might seem like unusual gardening tools, but they reveal something important. The garden is connected to everything around us, even the ingredients in our kitchen. Used wisely, brown sugar can stimulate soil microbes and support compost activity. Baking soda can help create conditions that discourage certain fungal diseases when used as a light foliar spray. Neither is a miracle cure, but both can play small roles in a thoughtful gardening approach. And as always, the most powerful thing you can do for your garden is nurture the soil itself. If you enjoyed learning about these simple soil science tricks, make sure you subscribe to the Soil Science Garden for more practical gardening insights. And if you know a fellow gardener who loves experimenting in the garden, don't forget to share this with them as well. Because the more we understand our soil, the better gardens we grow.